Right now, 6-year-old is in the hospital after an accidental shooting. What investigators are revealing about the incident at this time. Plus, the Trump administration pauses new student visa appointments. What's behind the change and the president's escalating threats against Harvard University. It's all coming up on News 3 Now at noon. Thank you for joining us for News 3 Now at noon. I'm Jalen Banks. Josh is off for the day. We have new details about an accidental shooting on Madison's east side that has left the 6-year-old fighting for their life. Madison police say the child shot themselves in the head at the Harmony Apartments, a complex already known for gun violence. Investigators confirmed the gun belonged to the man watching 3 children in the apartment. Officers have now arrested him, and he faces multiple charges. Police report the gun was holstered but not in a secured area within the children's reach. Police call this an isolated incident, but one resident tells News 3 Now, isolated or not, gunshots are gunshots when they're outside your window.
They don't have no quality to play out here. I mean, if they have to sit here and look over their shoulders and duck and dodge bullets, that's not cool. I just want to go somewhere where we're safe at, and hopefully they can get it together over here.
Police say they continue to offer weekly programs for families at Harmony Apartments. The complex saw 2 homicides in 2023. City leaders warn that if Harmony's property management didn't implement youth programming and safety protocols, the city might step in and take control. For now, Royal Capital, the current ownership group, remains in charge of the apartment complex. We have new information about a shooting on Madison's north side. A mother faced a terrifying situation when a man fired a gun, interrupting a Memorial Day cookout. She says the man walked up to her and had asked her if she knew him. The situation then escalated, and the man, who was a stranger, pulled out a gun.
About time I tried to turn around and walk in, some told me to look over my shoulders, and I seen him pointing the gun at me. I jumped out the way.
She says the shot missed her and her children, but struck a man. First responders treated one man at the scene and took another to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Madison police are investigating after an incident on the city's south side. It left one man with a non-life-threatening gunshot wound. Madison police say the incident started at Penn Park Sunday night. The victim says 2 men approached him and pulled out a gun. The man says he was shot as he tried to wrestle the gun away. No arrests have been made. If you have any information, you're asked to contact the Madison Area Crime Stoppers. In Milwaukee, the trial of the man accused of killing a 19-year-old woman after their first date is underway. Prosecutors say 34-year-old Maxwell Anderson killed and dismembered Sade Robinson in April of 2024. He faces 4 felony charges. The state is now also charging Anderson with hiding a corpse. Jury selection wrapped up on Tuesday. And the judge asked potential jurors how comfortable they are with graphic images. The trial is expected to last 2 weeks. Madison police have launched a new video at local Quick Trip stores, aiming to prevent arrests by connecting individuals to resources. The Madison Area Recovery Initiative, or MARI, received a grant for this project. MARI strategies include diversion, which links people to community help to avoid arrest records and deflection. This reduces crime by connecting individuals to mental health and substance recovery services.
So whether it's harm reduction, whether it's getting somebody a coach that can help them through in their journey to recovery, this is something we really believe in and that we've put in a lot of time and resource to make happen.
You can find more information about this on the City of Madison's website. To continuing coverage of the nurses' strike at Meriter Hospital. The nurses' union and hospital remain at odds after a last-minute meeting failed to take place. Another bargaining meeting is scheduled for tomorrow. If the 2 sides don't reach an agreement, the strike will continue through Saturday evening. For now, the president of the nurses' union says striking is their only option.
Nurses have been sounding the alarm about staffing concerns, inadequate workplace safety, and burnout for months. But management has refused to act or even hear us. And we do not take this action lightly. We are striking for our community. We are striking for our fellow nurses, and we are striking for every patient who walks through Meriter's doors.
Hospital officials say they have hired travel nurses to keep operations running. They say they are listening and have made great strides in their proposals and are ready to continue bargaining. Well, I had to turn on my windshield wipers this morning, Jacob. More chances of rain throughout the day. Let's get a look at your first one forecast with meteorologist Jacob Madison.
Yeah, we're going to continue to see some light showers, pretty isolated though throughout the afternoon, but we still may see that rain continue into the overnight hours. Now, as we take a look at the current radar, it seems we're having a little bit of, there we go. We are seeing some heavier rain out near Milwaukee, where there is consistent moderate to even heavy rain for some locations, but our area just seeing some scattered light showers, a little bit more consistent further off to the north. Now, as we take a look at the timing of this rainfall throughout the day, again, it is going to be pretty light and isolated, but we may continue to see just some light sprinkles continue even into the overnight hours. Now, once we get to Thursday morning, still have a chance of sprinkles, but it is going to be a little bit less of a chance, but we're still going to see some cloudy skies. Now, for the rest of the day, despite the fact that we may not see a ton of rainfall, we're still going to be chilly. Right now, temperatures are a little bit on the cooler side, middle to upper 50s across the area. And as we look at the highs for today, they're going to struggle to reach 60 for some areas. Places to the west may get kind of into the middle 60s, but still going to be below normal for sure. And then for the overnight hours, the cloudy skies will help keep the temperatures closer to normal compared to the average lows. So still going to see some cloudy and kind of messy weather, but again, we're not going to see the rain particularly heavy. Now, after today, temperatures are going to warm up very quickly, and the weekend is looking very summer-like. I'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later.
All right, sounds good, Jacob. We'll see you then. The Trump administration has paused new student visa interviews, the latest action targeting international students hoping to attend colleges and universities in the U.S. It comes as the president escalates his attacks on Harvard University. Natalie Brand has the latest and student reaction.
As students at Harvard University prepare to celebrate commencement this week, they're sounding off against the Trump administration's latest threats to target the school's funding.
It just feels like our learning or the freedom of learning is under attack.
The administration has given federal agencies until next Friday to review an estimated $100 million worth of contracts with Harvard for termination or transition, accusing the university of discriminatory hiring practices and a lack of concern for the safety and well-being of Jewish students.
Everybody knows they're anti-Semitic, and that's got to stop immediately.
That's on top of President Trump's earlier move to cancel more than $2 billion in federal grants, a move Harvard is now challenging in court.
Cutting funding is very ridiculous. I think that research, funding, intellectual independence are things that have made the United States strong.
Harvard has also sued to stop the administration's efforts to block the school from enrolling foreign students, which a judge has paused. But now the State Department has ordered U.S. embassies to temporarily stop scheduling any new student visa appointments.
CBS News has learned the State Department is preparing for an expansion of social media screening and vetting of applicants.
Whether they be student or if you're a tourist who needs a visa or whoever you are, we're going to be looking at you.
Lawyers say the Trump administration has tried to end the legal status for thousands of international students, many over minor legal infractions. A federal judge has blocked that effort while the case plays out in court. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
The State Department says scheduling of non-immigrant visa interview appointments is dynamic and designed to ensure applicants do not pose a security or safety risk to the U.S. Coming up, the end of an era for Southwest airline passengers. Plus, why several products sold under multiple brand names are being recalled.
After 5 months of declines, the Conference Board's U.S. Consumer Confidence Index increased in May by 12.3 points, beating expectations, though the Expectations Index, which measures how Americans feel about their near-term income, business, and job market prospects, rose to 72.8. Any number below 80 is a recession indicator. The White House said in a statement the Consumer Confidence Report reflects multiple solid inflation and jobs reports that Americans have seen under President Trump. The Coastal Companies is recalling 17 products sold under multiple brand names that may contain cucumbers from Bedner growers. The cucumbers have been linked to a new salmonella outbreak that has sickened at least 26 people in 15 states so far. The products include salsas sold under Giant, WISC, and Tops brands, as well as Created Fresh brand salads. Consumers are urged to keep a record of the products and throw them out immediately if found. And Southwest Airlines is ending its free checked bag policy today for many passengers. The budget-friendly carrier says it will charge passengers $35 for a first checked bag and $45 for a second, though loyalty program members, business select flyers, and certain credit card holders can still have their bags checked for free. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
And here's a look at the current stock numbers. The Dow Jones is down 78 points. The Nasdaq is down 7 and the S&P is down 11. Our Call for Action team volunteers are in the building taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call-for-action. Still ahead, Pam has your ag news and Jacob returns with a complete look of your first one forecast. Then later on live at 4, Lisa Briggs joins us to answer your planting garden questions. You can send them now to tips at channel3000.com and we'll get them answered. All right, we're going to get a look at your first warn forecast with meteorologist Jacob Montesano. Jacob, we've got some rain chances on the way, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to see some light precipitation throughout the afternoon and into the overnight hours as well, but especially this afternoon, we're going to see those showers continue. But again, it's not going to be raining for the entire time, and any time it does rain, it will be very light. Now, after this rain clears out, we're going to see 80s possible for the weekend, and for next week, we are going to see several chances of storms, but obviously a lot can change between now and then. Now, here's a look at the current radar. Again, much heavier closer to Milwaukee, but our area just seeing some very scattered light showers. But again, although they will be light and it may not rain for the entire time, we are going to continue to see the chance of that rain throughout the afternoon and evening. Now, once we get to the overnight hours, that's going to continue a little bit on a lesser scale, though. And then for Thursday, although we may continue to see some of these light showers again, it is going to continue, the chance is going to continue to diminish and diminish the later we go into the day Thursday. So once we get to Friday, we are going to see very sunny skies to start the day, but we are going to have a small chance of some showers and even some light thunderstorms for Friday afternoon and evening, as temperatures will be a lot warmer on Friday. But again, it's going to be pretty isolated. A lot of the area may not see any rain at all, and then we're almost going to certainly be dry over the weekend. So looking at today's forecast for the rest of the day, we're going to continue to see mostly cloudy skies. Again, some sprinkles are possible at times. Highs will be around 60, so definitely below normal for this time of the year. But then those temperatures are going to warm up tomorrow. Highs will be in the upper 60s, lower 70s, continuing to see mostly cloudy skies. And although it will be warmer, still a little bit below normal for this time of the year. But then for Friday, we're going to be a lot warmer. Highs will be in the upper 70s with partly sunny skies. Again, a small chance of some storms in the afternoon, but overall it is going to be very nice. And the weekend is going to be even nicer as we have an even smaller chance of rain with very similar temperatures. A lot of sunshine is expected for Saturday and Sunday. Could even get to the lower 80s for a few locations. And as you can see, it's going to be pretty dry. Now, looking at next week, as I mentioned, we do have several chances of some possible storms as we head towards next week. Now, a lot can change between now and then, but the 8 to 14-day precipitation outlook does show an increase in chances of precipitation, and we're likely going to see above average precipitation during that time. Again, still a bit unclear as to which days we'll see the most, but it looks like for about the middle of next week through the end of next week, we could be seeing a few rounds of some showers and thunderstorms. But before we get there, temperatures are going to continue to warm up for early next work week. Highs may get into the middle 80s for Monday and Tuesday. And even after we see those storms, we're still going to see high temperatures at least close to 80, if not still in the 80s themselves. So although it still is not really feeling like summer today, we are going to start to feel like summer on Friday. And for the first time this year, we're actually going to consistently see those summer-like temperatures, as 80s are in the forecast for much of next week, may even be flirting with some 90s for some locations. I wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, although it's not terribly likely. But then we are going to see those storms by the time we get to the middle of the week, and we still are going to see the warm temperatures even after those storms clear out.
I just put away my umbrella, and now I got to break it back out again, Jacob. Like, what gives, man?
Well, unfortunately, we may see the return of the umbrella for next week, even with those warm temperatures. But I think today might be the last day that you can, you're forced to wear any kind of like sweater or coat, because it seems like even though we have a chance of rain tomorrow, I mean, highs will be near 70, so we'll certainly be pretty comfortable.
All right, sounds good. Jacob, earlier I had the chance to catch up with Pam Yankee on our Ag News. Here goes the latest with your Ag News. Welcome back. Pam Yankee joins us in studio with the latest with all of our farm news. Pam, so I know people driving around or being outside today may not be too happy about the rain, but you guys, on the other hand,
yeah, not so bad. You're right, Jalen. Yeah, for sure. The good news is that most of our Wisconsin farmers have gotten a lot of work done over the past couple of weeks. In fact, the latest update from the Wisconsin Ag Statistical Service shows that both corn and soybeans, more than 80% of that crop has already been planted. And now we've got good emergence, too. So the rain that we're picking up, helping that seed to germinate, come through the soil surface. And farmers are pretty confident so far as the quality of their crop is concerned. A lot of confidence in both corn and soybeans. I'm also happy to see that more than 79% of our first crop alfalfa is rated good to excellent. That's the one crop when it comes to rain, you really don't want to see that coming through when you're trying to get things baled up or chopped up or put up for the cows. And speaking of those farmers and their practices, a new survey out from the UW-Madison campus that shows how much farmers are paying attention to erratic weather and the changes that we've been living through. We all hear about climate change. Farmers, more than 50% say that they understand and do believe that climate change is impacting their day-to-day operations and, more importantly, their long-term view of what they're doing as far as practices. Surveys show that more than 40% of the farms have now started to integrate things like conservation practices, also taking a look at maybe different crop rotations that can help on those years where you're really feeling the impact of climate change. And they're also talking about how man, they believe, is a large responsibility for why we've got climate change. Hopefully the weather is going to be beautiful coming up on Saturday, June 7th. Our friends in Sauk County invite you to come on out to Narrows Dairy, the Knowlton family, hosting you again in Rock Springs for the annual Sauk County Breakfast on the Farm. Also want to remind you, if you're looking for the Rock County Breakfast, the Iowa County Breakfast, or literally any of the breakfasts that we've got coming up around Wisconsin, you can find them all together in one place at WisconsinDairy.org, WisconsinDairy.org. And then, we talk a little bit about how this weather is impacting others. Wisconsin's kind of a sweet spot, believe it or not, when it comes to spring planting and confidence in the crop. You get farther south into Illinois, and those farms are still struggling with a little bit too much moisture, although with today's equipment, you can get a lot of acres covered in a short period of time if the weather cooperates. And that weather pattern of wet kind of continues up the Ohio Valley into states like New York, where I've got a buddy in New York State that said he has not seen a dry day put together for probably the past 3 weeks' time. So, like I said, well, we're super thrilled to see what's happening in Wisconsin. We've got to think about those other farmers that are still struggling and, to a certain extent, influencing what we're seeing in the marketplace as well. Also want to remind my dairy producers, don't forget, coming up in June, we are going to see changes to the market prices you'll see here on News 3. We are moving away from barrel cheese. The dairy processors will still produce it, but they will not use it as a pricing mechanism for how our Wisconsin dairy farmers are paid. So if you see that, notice that I'm not talking about it. That's the deal. New changes on the federal milk marketing order that we're finally getting beginning in June, Jalen.
And that's why we have you around, to keep us updated.
I try.
All right, well, sounds good. Thank you.
We're a country that loves copycat recipes. And today we have a recipe for shrimp on the Barbie that one of our viewers shared with us. She says it's a pretty close second to the one she gets at her favorite steakhouse. And these are so easy, they can be done outside like we're doing today, or inside in a skillet. All we do is skewer some large shrimp on a metal or bamboo skewer. And if you're using bamboo ones, you want to make sure you soak those first so they don't burn. Now we brush them with some melted butter And to give them that down under flavor, we sprinkle one side with a mixture we made by combining some garlic and onion powder, a touch of sugar, a bit of chili powder, and a little salt and pepper. Then onto the grill they go. After a couple minutes, we brush them with more butter and sprinkle them with more seasoning. Once they turn pink, they're done. And you can serve these as is, or with some remoulade sauce for dipping. And yes, we have the recipe for that too. Either way, these are as good as it gets. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for shrimp on the Barbie so you can get the taste of Down Under without leaving home. I'm Howard from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a restaurant fancy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Here's Jacob with the final check of your first warn forecast. Jacob?
Thanks, Jalen. We're going to continue to see some light showers for the rest of today and into Thursday. Small chance of those storms Friday, but we are going to see warmer temperatures Friday. Over the weekend looks pretty good. And then for next week, it's going to get even warmer. Highs could be in the middle 80s with storms by the middle and end of the week.
All right, sounds good, Jacob. Thank you for watching News 2 Now at noon. Coming up next is The Bold and the Beautiful. Our next newscast is live at 4.